So Pokemon just announced Pokemon Z is coming out after 10 years, and Megas are making their triumphant return. So I thought I'd jump back 10 years and make a top 10 video about it. Here are my top 10 Pokemon I'd like to see get a Mega Evolution in Pokemon Legends ZA. Alright, Game Freak, it's been 10 years. Where's Mega Flygon? I'm not seeing him anywhere. Check around the corner maybe. You've had 10 years to come up with a cool design for Mega Flygon. Let's see it. Let's see the thing. So, if you don't know, Mega Flygon wasn't made because Game Freak said they couldn't think of a cool design. If waiting 10 years is the price to pay for Mega Flygon to finally exist, then it might just have been worth it. I really like this Mega Flygon concept by Subjectively 5, because a lot of them go for like this really monstrous, ferocious Flygon, but like, look at regular Flygon. He's just a little guy. And this one kind of feels like a little guy too, so I like it a lot. Number 9, Talonflame. Now, I always thought it was really, really weird that there's almost no actual Gen 6 Pokemon that got Mega Evolutions. Like, it's just Diancie. So I'm hoping in this game they're going to correct that and give a lot of these old Gen 6 Pokemon some new Megas. My first pick for that would be Talonflame, because Talonflame, a big firebird. It's a big bird. I like birds. I like fire. I like firebird. Make big firebird. Yippee. This Mega Talonflame design by Ink.exe is really cool to me. I just love how it's just a bigger Talonflame with more fire. It's just great. Number 8, Meowstic. Now, this is a pretty weird pick. Most people don't even remember that this weird psychic eyeball cat even exists. But hear me out. So, some Megas that I found really cool were actually the like small ones. Think like Sableye, Lopunny, and Audino. So, if we're gonna get another one like that, I think Meowstic would be a great pick. It's not even remotely the most popular Pokemon out there. Just no one talks about this thing. But I kind of like it, and I think drawing more attention to it by giving it a cool Mega would be really, really helpful. Plus, I was never a fan of Pokemon like Rayquaza getting Megas because they're already so strong. Like, do you need them to be stronger? So I think ditch the pseudo-legendaries and bring in Meowstic. Now, surprise, surprise, there's not a whole lot of Mega Meowstic concepts, but I do really like this one by Pikachu 17. Having Meowstic have the eyes open all the time, always in like powerful psychic mode, is really, really a cool idea, so I like this design. Number 7, we got Crocodile. He's a big crocodile. What else do I need to say? Next. Number 6, Trevenant. I have a very strong fondness for Trevenant, stronger than most people's would be. Now, Phantom was one of the first Gen 6 Pokemon I ever saw, and I just thought it was super cute, but I never actually used Trevenant in the Gen 6 games. I only actually started using Trevenant in Gen 7 as the Harvest Lepa Berry Recycle person. I did a lot of shiny hunting in Ultra Sun and Moon, and having that infinite move pool from recycling Lepa Berries was just amazing. So that's why Trevenant is one of my favorite Pokemon, and because of that, I wanted to get a new Mega. I really like this Trevenant by Goompy. I really like how it kind of condenses together, and then the like leaves really explode out, and you can see like souls of other Phantoms and Trevenants within the leaves. That's really, really cool. I think we're starting to see a pattern forming. I'm just picking my favorite Pokemon. Number 5, Aromatisse. Don't click away, let me explain. So back in the day, before I had done any competitive Pokemon, really did anything, I started a draft league with some of my friends at school. Now, Gen 6 had just come out, all these new Pokemon. Some of them were cool, and some of them were Aromatisse. And so, at the very end of the draft, the final pick, I basically ended up getting stuck with Aromatisse on my team. And I wasn't really happy about it. I just kind of expected it to be like, bench warmer, never sees the field. Now, something you must keep in mind here. I didn't know anything about competitive Pokemon. None of my friends knew anything about competitive Pokemon. So we all were just kind of just messing around a little bit. Aromatisse is by no means a good Pokemon. But in that tournament, Aromatisse was kind of busted. It was the new fairy type, which most people weren't acclimated to yet, so that was a big advantage. The Attract Calm Mind combination just absolutely took my friends by storm, and they hate me for it. So everyone else in that tournament hated Aromatisse. But me, the guy who got to use it, pretty good, pretty alright, pretty okay with that Pokemon. So I would just love to see Aromatisse actually get something good. One, a good design, yippee. And I would just like to see it get a little more less hate.
This is a Mega Aromatisse designed by Soulmayer, and I really, really like this one. I think it leans into the whole Plague Doctor aesthetic that really, really was needed for Aromatisse. But it still keeps that, like, pretty pink design. It's not exactly a can-can dancer anymore, but I think I'm okay with that.
Number 4, Diggersby. Now, when I first saw Diggersby, I thought, wow, that is an ugly Pokemon. I am never using this thing. And then I found out it had huge power, and it's been one of my favorite Pokemon ever since. Huge power essentially brings Diggersby's stats up to 479, which isn't great, but it's not bad. I'm imagining it using its giant, like, ear hands to both, like, dig up dirt and absolutely deck you in the face.
This is a Mega Diggersby by Lospa17. This is very similar to what I'm imagining a Mega Diggersby to be. Like, just a big, like, ground fighting type with enormous hands that are going to rock you into the ground.
Number 3, Azumarill. Oh, look! Another bunny with huge power, except this one is cute and has one of the best offensive typings in the entire game. Azumarill is a similar story to Diggersby for me, except I was more indifferent to it than outright hating it. And then it got huge power, and suddenly I loved it. Despite actually having lower stats than Diggersby, I find that I use Azumarill a lot more, and giving it a Mega Evolution would just be incredible. I would love it. Just, let's do it.
I actually couldn't really find online a Mega Azumarill that I think fit what I was looking for, which was like a buff Azumarill, looking like he has huge power for real. So instead, I just used Infinite Fusion to fuse it with a Machamp, and this is what we got.
Number 2, for Alligator. Let me explain. So while all the other picks were a lot more general, I'd say, this is definitely the one that's mostly biased for me. Maybe with the exception of Azumarill, all of the other ones I could see being like, generally, this is the consensus of some people for Gen 6 Megas. But here's my train of thought. So this is a Legends game, and that means we're probably going to get a bunch of just random picked starters mashed together for the new starter trio. And for the water type, I want for Alligator. Totodile has been my favorite starter pretty much my entire Pokemon career. And I think that the new starters in this game should get Mega Evolutions, kind of like how in Legends Arceus we got Hisuian forms. So, Mega for Alligator, number 1 pick. If I could guarantee one thing, Mega for Alligator would be just amazing. It'd be lovely. But just for fun, let's just pick 2 more starters to fill out the roster. Keep in mind, since I'm giving them Megas, that discludes Gen 1 and Gen 3 since they already have some. I think the best candidates for starters for the Legends Z is going to be Totodile, Turtwig, and Litten. Totodile because I love Totodile, you get the point, whatever. Turtwig was actually my second starter that I ever had in Pokemon Pearl, so that's a fun one. And like, imagine Mega Torterra! And then Litten because I'd like to see Incineroar in a game without abilities. Okay, before we get to number 1, I've got some honorable mentions. Sylveon. It's my favorite evolution, but if you give one evolution a Mega, you gotta give them all a Mega, so that's cut. Aegislash. Love the Pokemon, love the gimmick. I can't really see them turning that gimmick into a Mega now, you know? And Avalugg. Cool Pokemon, love it. Really bad, really useless. I would give it a Mega, except it just got a regional form in Hisui. So, okay, enough with the honorable mentions. Finally, number 1, the Kalos starters need Megas. If anything on this list were going to come true, this has to be it. It baffles me that the Kalos starters, the starters of this new game, were overshadowed by the Gen 1 starters because you got to pick a second set of starters, and the second set got Megas. What world do we live in where Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard all got Megas, Charizard getting 2, and the starters from the region in which Mega Evolution was created don't have Megas? So I actually do have a theory for why they didn't do Megas like this, and it goes as such. I'm imagining, say we had Mega Greninja from the start, right when the games were out, Mega Greninja. Then I feel like we would always see Froakie's final form as Mega Greninja and not regular Greninja. And so when Game Freak inevitably removed Megas, suddenly now these starters feel incomplete because their final forms are no longer in the game. That's not the case for the older Pokemon because we already knew them as, oh, Venusaur is the last Pokemon in the Bulbasaur line, so Mega Venusaur is a bonus, not the actual, end. But it's been a while. So now you can do that with the starters in Kalos, and they won't feel incomplete. So my number 1 pick, absolutely, is Mega Delphox, Mega Chestnut, and Mega Greninja. We need them. It's about time. So, that's my top 10. top 10 Mega Evolutions I want to see in the new Pokemon Legends ZA games that are coming out in 2025, and they have Mega Evolutions back in the game, and now we're adding more of them, hopefully. I'm going to work on that title, but that's the working title. Goodbye.